Hi comic book fans and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. Today I'm going to show you the comic haul that I got at the London Comic Mart last Sunday. So that was Sunday the 5th of October 2025. As usual, I was at the London Comic Mart with my trusty helper, the Grey Man. We had a table selling comics, and I'd like to thank all of those of you who dropped by and said hello, especially those who I hadn't put a name. I was able to put a face to a name. You know who you are. So it was good to meet you, and to all of you out there, if you're ever at the London Comic Mart and I'm there, please do come and say hello. You don't have to buy a comic, although it helps. Right, so I've got my pickups here are in three sections. The first section is the dollar bin diving section. So it's the biggest section. I picked up a lot of comics from nice, cheap bargain bins. So yeah, there's one particular guy that I like to buy these off. They're all bagged and boarded, and generally they're in minty condition. He had a whole load of stock. Everything effectively was on sale. He had bins at £1.50, bins at £1, bins at £2. So I got quite a lot of these from him, and also I got quite a few from the guy who had the table next to me at the Comic Mart. I raided him before the show started, and he had some really nice stuff as well. So here we go. These are all the bargain bin buys. Some are for the PC, and some are to sell on. This first lot is for the PC. Um, this is Michael Turner's Fathom. This is from 1988, and this is the first series of Fathom. This was when Michael Turner was with Top Cow, and this was a creator-owned character called Fathom. Um, I think she's called Aspen Matthews, and she's a sort of some sort of sea god, but she's also half human. I don't know. Anyway, she's she's got sea related powers. Michael Turner found at a comic mart by Mark Silvestri, who brought him in to do artwork at Top Cow. Unfortunately, Michael Turner developed cancer in, I think, 2002. So this series here with Top Cow runs from 98 to 2002 when Turner had a very bad bone cancer. He had a very serious operation which removed a large part of his pelvis. He did return to work after that, but he didn't return to Top Cow. He went and started his own comic title called label called Aspen, named after his character here. So I think Michael Turner, unfortunately, he did last 6 years after that, but unfortunately he died in 2008. And I think Michael Turner's stuff is undervalued. The fact that I was able to pick these up effectively for $2 each, £1.50 each, is a bit crazy. I do collect Michael Turner. These will all be going into my Michael Turner box. So that is Fathom number one, Fathom number two. Fathom number three. Now, these do have, I think it's the UK that hasn't caught on to Michael Turner, because looking at Go Collect, some of these now are worth some money. So, this issue here, number three and number four, I saw on CGC that the latest sales of these in a CGC 9.8, these had sold for $150 in a 9.8. So, picking up a raw copy in high grade like this from a dollar bin is well worth doing. Same with that one, number four. Number five, which I really like the cover of number five. I think there were about 12 of these. I got one to five. I also got this one, which is, I think there were three sort of mini trade paperbacks from Top Cow, which basically reprinted the Fathom series. This is book number three. And finally, on Fathom, obviously he then started Fathom Up under his own label, and here we got Fathom number zero, a great cover. But you can see the company here now has changed to Aspen MLT, MLT being Michael Turner's initials. So yeah, really nice to pick those up. I just took them all out of the box in the same area because it's obviously the same name. Was Comico's Fathom. This is a completely different character. This is one of the elementals from Comico. This is earlier. This is from 1987, but I still think great cover here by Bill Willingham. And again, got number one and number two of that. Okay. Next up was just some random ones that I pick up. I pick this up whenever I see them in this sort of grade. This is Seduction of the Innocent from 1985. We got Bernie Wrightson artwork in here. This is from Eclipse Comics. Yeah, really nice high grade. I've got this, but I think this is higher grade than the one I've got. This is really mint. Yeah, some of these are I picked up from this guy, and these have never been opened, never been read. Um, Couple of nice Lobos. Again, I've already got these, but these will be for resale when we get closer to the Supergirl movie, which is going to star Jason Momoa as Lobo. So yeah, picking those up for £1.50 just made sense to me. They'll just be kept until we get closer to the movie. This one was an interesting one. And there wasn't many of this sort of stuff in these bargain bins, but this one's really nice. It's Fighting Forces number 95. Probably in a, I think this is in a fine minus. It has got a bit of spine wear, but it's not too bad. And this is the first appearance of Devil Dog. Devil Dog is Sergeant Rock's brother who's in the Marines. Yeah, I thought it was a really nice pickup. And I do have a little collection of war magazines now, more comics. This one's a one I've had before and sold a couple of times. This is X-23 Target X issue 1 from 2007. I just think that's a great cover. That's for sale. That'll be for sale in some future whatnot show of mine. Right now, I do collect. I've got a fairly complete collection of Atlas comics, but I couldn't resist picking these up because of the grade. This is one of the Atlas comics. It's called Scorpion. And here we have Scorpion number one. This is Howard Chaykin. I'm pretty sure I've got that, but I haven't got it in that grade. So that will replace my existing copy. And this one, I'm not sure I do have. If I do have it, then this will be a much higher grade. These are mint. Um, and very difficult to find these Atlas comics in mint condition. Generally, they've been in, they've been in dollar bins and badly treated over the years. From 1975. So these are 50 years old now. Again, Howard Chaykin. This one's really rare, very rare. I went on to eBay. I could not find any copies of this either in the UK or the US. So some of these Atlas comics really are quite rare. So I suspect number two is worth more than number three there. This was just a nice random Superboy in reasonable grade. A great Neil Adams cover. Couldn't resist that for £1.50. Next up, again, there was a run of these Marvel 2-in-1s. I don't usually collect Marvel 2-in-1s, but this is in mint condition, and it does appeal to my Bronze Age horror collecting because this is the Thing teamed up with the Living Mummy. I think this is at least a 9.2. Absolutely great. And I love the little box up here with the thing and the living mummy. Um, Next up, a couple of Scotty Youngs. These are for resale. Scotty Youngs at £1.50. He's a no-brainer. Those will be appearing in a Whatnot show. Here's another one. There were only two Scotty Youngs in the box. I think they've been raided by somebody else before I got there. Um, Next up, we've got a couple of Secret Wars. Just love these covers. This is Gabrielle Delotto. Some things come off on the bag there. Um, I might be tempted to get the whole run of these because they're not expensive and they've got the great Gabrielle Delotto and they're really nice because they've got sort of uh, foil trade dress. Yeah. So couldn't resist a couple of Gabrielle Delotto covers at £1.50. Next up, this is from the guy on the stall next to me who's selling these at £2 each. Sock Monkey number one and Monkey number two. That is the entire run of the first series of Sock Monkey. This one, number two, sells for a bit of money in the States. Yeah, so Sock Monkey one and two. I think those will probably be staying in the PC. Right, then we get into some sort of biggest runs that I found. Yeah, so Rocketeer. This is the Rocketeer from the IDW era. So these are more modern than the original Dave Stevens Rocketeer, but still really nice. These are probably going to stay in the PC. These are in near mint condition. Rocketeer in the Spirit, issue 4. Rocketeer and the Spirit Pulp Friction, issue 2. Rocketeer and the Spirit Pulp Friction, issue 3. Rocketeer Hollywood Horror. Now, I think I've got issues 1 and 2 of Hollywood Horror. And so I picked up issues 3 and issue 4. Really nice artwork on those. And the cover artist on these two here is Roger Lanridge, who's a British artist. And I think he is going to be at the Thought Bubble conference in Harrogate in October. So I'll probably take these two to Harrogate with me to get Roger to sign these. Another Rocketeer Cargo of Doom, issue 2. Rocketeer Cargo of Doom, issue 3. Love that cover. Rocketeer Adventures, issue 2. And finally, Rocketeer at War, a great Rocketeer cover here. So again, all of those out of bargain bins, which is great. I do like myself a bit of Rocketeer, and those are reasonably pricey comics. You know, they're certainly worth more than the £1.50 that I paid for them. I paid £2 for a couple of them, but they're worth more than that. £5 to £10, I think. Right, I then picked up a whole stack of Aliens. Um, These are for resale. Having said that, however, some of this does contain art by one of my favorite cover artists. So we got Aliens Genocide, a couple of issues of that. Uh, Colonial Marines Aliens, 2 or 3 issues of that. All of these mint, they look like they've never been read. Aliens versus Predator. Look at that cover there. Great Predator cover that. Aliens versus, that was not issue 2. Here is issue 3. And here is issue 4. Now, I think those 3 come from a small mini series 1 to 4. What I'm going to show you next is a different one, Aliens versus Predator. This is Aliens versus Predator, the deadliest of the species. This was a 12 issue run, and all the covers were done by the great John Bolton. So these are fantastic covers. I might be tempted to keep these and fill them out. We got number four, number five. John Bolton just doing great work here on Alien covers. This is one of my favorites here. Oh, they're all great. This is a great run. Look at this. Bolton is just incredible. Um, Another great John Bolton cover here. Very tempted to keep these. Um, and again, picking these up for £1.50. Crazy. Uh, what great covers these are. And finally, number 12, which is another great cover. So might be tempted to keep those John Bolton covers. Right. A couple more bargain bin pickups. I'll pick these up all day long at £1.50 in near mint condition. It's Moon Knight, Mark Spector Moon Knight. This one's great. This is from 1990. These are all in near mint minus 9.2s or better. And this one is a newsstand as well from 1990. That's rare. Moon Knight 33, Face of the Hobgoblin. Again, very few of those on eBay. I found one copy in the States. Why that one is rarer, I don't know. This is a great Moon Knight cover. This is Mark Spector Moon Knight number 39. And then Fist of Khonshu number 4, all in near mint minus or higher grade. Right, so that was all the dollar bin picking up that I did. I then was visited by one of my fellow whatnot sellers, comics and stuff, who is a regular attendee at the London Comic Mart. He doesn't pay anything to get in. To be fair, he was helping one of the other sellers this time, so I suppose that's fair enough. And he raids all the people before I get there and gets all the best stuff. Anyway, he knows what type of stuff I like, and he did bring some stuff in for me, which I'm going to show you because one or two of these, there's a couple of them I really do like. Um, the first one is a copy of Swing with Scooter number 12. Now, this is a magnificent cover. It's a good girl art cover. It's in, I think I'm going to press that. I'm going to clean and press this. I think this will press up to a fine. Now, amazing. I went to look for this on eBay, and I could only find one copy of this, and it was a CGC 9.2, but it was $200, and he did describe it as hard to find and rare. I have never seen this cover before. I think this is towards the end of the Swing with Scooter run, and I suspect the print run was really low. So yeah, that was a great buy from Comics and Stuff. This one's great as well. I had been looking at these, looking to get myself a copy of this Date with Debbie, issue one, from 1969. Again, I got a very good price on that from Comics and Stuff. These are all for my PC. We've got a 3D comic here that he gave me two copies of because he felt he'd overcharged me for the first one. So I got two copies of this now. I think he found one in a dollar bin and then felt guilty for charging me £5 for it. But those are the breaks. So yeah, where is it? This one, yeah, Laughing Gas 3D from Blackthorn. I've got two copies of that. So we'll sell one at some stage. I'll probably add some 3D glasses to it. This is really nice. Just love this cover. This is from 1989, again from Blackthorn. It is Little Nemo in Slumberland 3D from Blackthorn. Just love that cover. Love the pinks. Love the composition. Great. And finally, another 3D comic. He knows I collect 3D comics. This is fabulous. This is Mr. Lizard 3D. But what's even better about this, this is from 1993 and it's a newsstand, but also it's still in its poly bag and it still contains the glasses and a capsule. It says at the top, instant Mr. Lizard capsule included. Let me just show you this. It's still got the instant Mr. Lizard capsule in it on it. Yeah, this type of thing really does appeal to me. Um, so here it is. It's still in its poly bag. And you can see there is the Mr. Lizard instant capsule. Presumably you put it in water and it expands into a Mr. Lizard. Yeah. Step-by-step instructions for activating your very own instant Mr. Lizard. I wonder if it still works. I'm not going to try it. I'm going to leave it like that in that sort of in that state. Very nice. Right. Okay, so those are my that was the first two categories of pickup. Then decided I've had a good period of time selling over the last couple of weeks, so my comic account is quite healthy. So I decided to treat myself to two big boy books. And there's a seller at the London Comic Mart who has a lot of Batman slabs. So I went over to his stall and was very tempted by seven or eight different slabs. In the end, I decided to go for two of the two slightly less pricey ones instead of the one big pricey one. But I will probably go back and get the big pricey one at a later date. Here we go. It is two. I collect Batman and Detective comics. Those are my PC comics. And so here we've got two nice early Detective and Batman slabs. First one is really nice. This is Detective Comics number 227, I think, from January 1956. Very early days of the Comic Code Authority, but I think it counts as Golden Age because it's after the Flash. It's got the third appearance of Martian Manhunter. If you see at the top, it says a new feature, Manhunter from Mars. And it's a great one with all these masks. So this character is saying, by studying all these disguises Batman has used, I've put together his real features and discovered who he really is. And then you've got all the masks that Batman has used over the years, and that is in a beautiful 4.0. I have to say, it presents really well. It does have a subscription crease down here, which is I think what's caused it to be a 4.0. But very nice. So that will be going into my personal collection. Then we have got this one, this was more expensive. This was the most expensive one. This is Batman 99. Now, I picked up Batman 100 from this very same seller last year, or maybe it might have been the year before. But here we've got Batman 99. And if you can see, there's a very small penguin here on top of his umbrella. And what the cover says here is Robin, someone's been in the Batcave and stolen another one of our trophies. Then you must know our secret identities, right? Okay, so this is the Phantom of the Batcave. And this is obviously a sort of trophy, serial killers and Batman keep trophies of their of their victories. And this is a sort of a predating Funko Pops. So Batman has a very early prototype Funko Pop of the Penguin. Now, this comic says on it, this is the last Golden Age Penguin appearance. So, interestingly, this has got the Comic Code Authority stamp. Now, some people would say that the Silver Age, the Golden Age ended with the introduction of the Comic Code Authority. Other people will argue that the Silver Age started with the Flash appearance in Showcase, and I think that's what CGC are using here because this is very, very late Golden Age, early Silver Age. So yeah, really pleased to pick that up. Again, it presents really well. Um, yeah, looks really great. Huge, great big Comics Code Authority stamp. Um, and we've got an aircraft carrier on the back. Kids, be one of the first to send off for this aircraft carrier. Right, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that. Some dollar bin pickups, some stuff delivered to me at the show by Comics and Stuff, and then two really nice Batman slabs. I think a very successful London Comic Mart, and of course, I met lots of lovely comic buyers. That is it for now. See ya again soon.